what do they say about fly patterns? They catch fishermen, not fish. So sometimes that's a thing. Yeah. But I like to fish the fun stuff first and foremost, and then back it off and find what they're actually eating. And then if it's the right choice, then you're in good shape. And then yeah. But yeah, I guess you know, I started the other day and fished some larger olive stuff, and they wouldn't touch it. And then I fished smaller olive stuff with a little flash, and they wouldn't touch that. And I kept breaking it back, and I eventually settled on shiny, black, heavy, small stuff, and they ate it very well. And then once we had caught quite a few, we started ramping back up to more entertaining flies to fish, and settled on like a tan articulated fly. And only the brown trout ate that, and they were all better side fish.
So how long until you change up? How much time do you give the fly in the water?
One run.
We've changed already 4 times.
Yeah, one run
You guys have changed 4 times already.
Yeah. But yeah, like one run, if you know the water, and if you think that they should be eating it, yeah, I'll change it quickly. And you know, keeps you going, I guess. Just you gotta try something else. But yeah, it's funny. Love this pattern. Double Ganga, Charlie Craven, I believe. Articulated, pushes a little water. It's got some weight in the head, and 2 hooks, which is always a bonus. It's a good like mid-sized river pattern, and relatively easy to cast. It's got a lot of action. Going up from there, like a big black wedge head, a little purple. It's got some weight, but it really pushes a lot of water, and it gives a lot of action because of all the that schlappen or marabou at the back, something like that. So a little bit larger pattern for a little bit bigger water, or just when you want to shoot for the moon, kind of thing. And then coming back around, let's see here, and this is the Dragon John Bond. Big pushy fly again, a lot of material, but it swims for days. Just continues to swim. 2 hooks, big and articulated. Good pattern. And then moving off of those, going to like some single hook patterns. Kamikaze Sculpin's really good for, you know, especially wade fishing. Kind of a good pattern for that, and bringing it through runs, and a little bit more simple of a pattern with 2 colors. And then one of our personal favorites is the Crelix. We've mentioned that a few times already. And it sinks really fast. It goes down in the water column and can bring it across shelves and through deeper runs, and it'll get down there, and very, very flashy. Crelix. What else?
Name those 4 properties in a good fly. Again, please.
Let's see here. First things I look at is color, and then I move on to the let's see here, color, weight, and then how it moves, and what size it is. How's that? So I'll do it again. So color, weight, movement, and size. Those are 4 big ones.
I caught a million fish on a streamer, and that last one was still fun.
Yeah. You don't scream and yell
Yeah.
on a lot of nymphing, for me personally.
I don't think anyone does.
There's a bunch of risers in there.
Oh, he's on it. Come on.
Oh yeah! Yeah!
That was a big fish.
That was nice.
That was a nice fish. Oh, I saw it too.
I'd say floating line is the starting point, and then it changes to floating line with a light fly, and then floating line with a heavier fly, and then floating line with a little bigger fly, and then you can start adding things like sinking tips and sinking lines, and then it just exponentially gets tougher and tougher. All right, so building a floating line leader for my streamer fishing. I'm gonna do a perfection loop on a piece of 3-foot, 25-pound fluorocarbon, and perfection loop done. I use 25-pound because I don't want to damage my fly line with the loop. When you're hooking into fish or into logs, you'll tear your loop, your welded loop on your fly line. So get that guy going. So 3 feet of 25 pound. And then I'll take 3 feet of 16 pound fluorocarbon. This is a Phantom X Ultra Fluoro. And in between those two, I'll tie a blood knot. So I can still kind of turn the fly over and not damage the line. The 16 is a good starting point for not breaking flies. Give it a good tug. So about a 6 foot leader for floating line. Trim it up.
You're fine.
And then I always put the leader on the fly line and pull the leader through the welded loop of the fly line. And then we'll grab a fly for the floating line. I like to use something with a little bit of weight so it'll sink a bit. And we'll do a fuego, double fuego here. Good looking pattern. And so I'll do a non-slip mono loop knot, which is an overhand loop. Once through, pull it away. Through the eyelet. Back through the way you came out. 3 times around. And back through the way you came out. Trim it up. There you go. Good looking. That's floating line. Rigging up a sinking line streamer setup. I'm going to still use a piece of 25 pound ultra fluorocarbon perfection loop. And the 25 pound keeps me from damaging the fly line, the loop on the fly line when you come tight. Just about an 18-inch piece, maybe a little bit less. And then another piece of 16 pound, but you can go 12, you can go 20, whatever you feel like. About 18 inches. And then we'll go to another blood knot. So overall length, I'm hoping for about 3 feet on the sinking line, because I'm trying to get it down there and I don't need that line to float and the fly to float. I'm trying to get it to sink quickly. Tighten her up. About 3 footer. Trim up the tag ends. The leader goes on the fly line. Then pull through the welded loop. And then with those big sink tips, I like to put something a little more aggressive on there. A little bigger, a little heavier fly, trying to, make it happen. So, big white wedge head. Non-slip mono loop is the knot I like to tie. Overhand knot. Through the eyelet. Out the way you came in. Around 3 times. Back through the way you came out. Trim it up. He's ready. Talk about fly fishing across the world. There's not a lot of fly fishing that isn't streamer fishing, as far as you move on to other species. That's really what people are kind of doing, whether they pursue tarpon or pursue permit, bonefish, saltwater, taimen. They don't nymph up taimen when they go to Mongolia, so they can, right?
Never say never.
Yeah, sure. I mean, floating line is the starting point, and then it changes to floating line with a light fly, and then floating line with a heavier fly, and then floating line with a little bigger fly, and then you can start adding things like sinking tips and sinking lines, and then it just exponentially gets tougher and tougher to fish it until you're kind of got used to it. You learn how to do it. Some people like to fish really light flies on a sinking tip, but I usually feel like it casts easier with a weighted fly on a floating line.
That's your go-to? Is
That's
weighted
my
fly?
starting point, yeah.
Starting point?
Yep.
Saw a lot of black going onto a reel a little bit ago.
That was from myself for the big stuff, and that's, you know, trying to take a moonshot, right? Trying to just going for it, yeah.
You
Those
feel
are.
like bigger flies, bigger fish?
I don't know if that correlates at all, but I feel like I like fishing bigger flies because I want to see something eat the bigger fly. It's just more fun to watch, and you know, what do they say about fly patterns? They catch fishermen, not fish. So sometimes that's a thing. Yeah, but I like to fish the fun stuff first and foremost, and then back it off and find what they're actually eating. I think like fly by fly, the retrieve changes a lot. Like small heavy stuff I like to pull across runs and through, you know, rock gardens with short, quick strips with a lot of control on the line. And then larger patterns, I like to let them hang, and because in between your strips they'll swim, and they're not necessarily jumping through the water, but that's usually when I'll have a bigger fish eat it, is while it's hanging. And the, you know, back half of the articulated fly is swimming through the water, kind of thing. And that's super productive on those bigger flies. Even if they're a smaller size of the bigger fly, like you know, the double gonga or the baby double gonga, they'll still swim when you stop them, and that's a big time where they eat them. Catching them when they eat them, when they stop them, that's the tough part. And then big pocket water into a big hole. Slap right on the wall, give it a strip once or twice. I'm fishing a lot of fast water here, so I'm trying to pick apart each pocket with one good strip and let it hang a little bit. See if I can't get something to move off the heavy, deeper rocks. Try to strip it and let it hang. A little faster pocket water here. Try to keep it in the softer water and pull it into the faster. Nice fish. Probably change the black one because I've seen 2 or 3 nice fish come right up to it and not eat it. So they're like moving on the flies that comes through the water, they're feeling it and then inspecting it and maybe not eating it. That's usually a good time for me to change, whether bigger or whiter or something like that. You're trying to find the shelf edge or the bucket and pulling it through those rock gardens, and a lot of our guiding here is mountain streams and mountain rivers. There's a lot of elevation change and a lot of rapids, and that's really why I come out here, is to fish rapids. Like, that's the fun stuff where there's holding water and ambush water for those trout, and that's where, you know, it might just hit them on the head and they'll kill it, or strip it 3 times and let it hang in the middle of the rapid where no one else has casted, and that tends to be the one you remember, and that's the fun stuff for us. And yeah, trying to find that gap and find the spot to hold tension, but also let the fly swim, kind of thing. Pause, hold, and then they have to kill it. Ah, there he is. Hey, caught one. Hey, little guy.
I feel like fly spacing plays a role.
I used to do that a lot, and it works really well, but I feel a lot of time you snag the fish when they eat the top one, and I feel fishing a single fly is much more angling and much more kind of challenging and difficult, and it's also more fun. You're hunting one fly through water to try to find a fish who's feeding, and yeah, so for the most part now I just fish single streamers. It's more fun, it's more hunting, it's more, you know, user engaged, more angling than chasing down bobbers all the time. Is, you know, there's a time and a place for sure, but not always, doesn't always get me up in the morning, kind of thing. So and it doesn't always bring people back as far as guiding goes. It's fun to catch a bunch of fish, but if you never see them eat your fly, then you're kind of disconnected through a bobber. We don't have to catch any because we're streamer fishing.
Oh yeah.
It's more of like a challenge. It's a personal challenge than anything else. Eat it. Come on, eat it, eat it, eat it. Strip, 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 strip. Look at the little shelf. Try to slide it right down the back of the shelf. Yeah, just like that. Throw a big mend into it. Rip it, like big shelf, rip it across. As fast as you can strip it. Big strips, big strips, big strips. You're not moving it. Fly's not moving. Gotta move the fly, gotta move the fly. That's really what it sounds like. It's kind of, you're going for the, man, just keeps you up at night, and the memory of, you know, it might only be one fish all day, but it's usually the memory of the fish. The challenge of casting it and stripping it through that water, and, you know, being there, time and place is a big thing. Like if you don't go, you'll never know if they were eating that day, and, you know, putting your time in, putting the work in to try to catch that fish is why I like streamer fishing. Single fly, no droppers.
Not ever a drop.
Sometimes a dropper.
Oh, he's on it. Come on. Oh yeah.
That was nice.